Hello students, welcome to Onboard Digital Classes. Today, in this video, we will cover a very important news article which is covered in the Hindu. Okay, what does it say? It basically talks about the threat which was given by Mr. Anna Hazare to the Maharashtra government. Why? Because recently the Maharashtra government has brought some amendments with respect to RTI rules. Okay, this newspaper article says will launch fast from July 5th if amendments to RTI rules not revoked. Okay, which is said by Anna Hazare. So as a student or as an aspirant of various competitive examinations, we must know everything about the RTI rules. All right, so let's discuss the RTI rules, and then in the end we shall also discuss the amendments which was brought by the Maharashtra government. Okay, so let's start with the definition of RTI rules. RTI is nothing but it's the law. Okay, RTI, right to information, is nothing but it's a law that gives every Indian citizen the right to ask the government for information. Correct. It is the law, and in fact we can say it is a medium through which every citizen of Bharat can ask the government regarding some particular information. For instance, what kind of information, you must be wondering, right? Anything information with respect to what concerns them. For example, there is a road which has been constructed 1 month ago, okay, and after 1 month you see the potholes in the roads. Now as a citizen of Bharat, you are not pretty convinced with the outcome of the project, right? What do? You basically file an RTI, and in RTI you can ask questions regarding the cost of that particular construction. You can ask about the contractors, you can ask in fact the bills, all those things you can ask. This is the empowerment which is given to every Bharatiya. Okay, and which law empowers that? That law is RTI. We have recently seen the leak in the examination paper, right? And a concerned citizen can file an RTI. Okay, so these are all the concerns that every individuals, if they are feeling that this is something affecting them, they can file an RTI. All right, now there is a limitations as well. In which subject matter can you not file RTI? For example, if there is a subject matter that concerns the security of the nation, the defense of the nation, in those cases you cannot file the RTI. Okay, let's take an example. If Bharat is procuring some important defense equipments from Russia, okay, you cannot say as a citizen of India it's my right to know what kind of products with respect to defense Bharat has purchased from Russia. You cannot do that. Why? Because that is related to national security. Okay, and also there is another example that you can give is the international relations. For example, if Bharat wants to entertain the president of Myanmar, okay, though he is not a democratically elected government, okay, you cannot say as a citizen that why are you basically entertaining the person who is not democratically elected. Okay, you can criticize, that is different, but then you cannot ask the government the reasons, please give me RTI, and you cannot do that. Okay, because in international relations also you cannot file any RTI. Correct. So these are various important limitations with respect to RTI that you must remember. Okay, and another thing that you must remember is it is passed in the year 2005 in the Parliament of India. Okay, there are another provisions, important provisions of RTI that you must keep in mind. For instance, what are the objectives of RTI? Even if you don't see the board and then think for yourself, okay, what was the reason why RTI was implemented in Bharat? Right? First and foremost, to promote transparency in government. Before RTI was implemented, there was no transparency. And if there is no transparency, there is no accountability. Correct. If there is no accountability, there is definitely corruption. So everything is interlinked, right? So to promote transparency in government, to make public authorities accountable, okay, and also to reduce corruption. And the basic objective was to empower citizens. How? Because now the citizens, because they have paid some taxes, and it's their money which has been implemented in example for bringing for construction some kind of a infrastructure project, right? So since it is their money, they should have the right to know whether their money is being utilized in the proper way or not. Correct. So basically it is to empower citizens as well, and also to strengthen democracy. So these were basic objectives of RTI. All right, moving ahead to who can file an RTI. Every Indian citizen can file an RTI, but whether foreign citizen can file an RTI, the question is no. Foreign citizen cannot file an RTI in Bharat. Okay. Next, who is covered under RTI? Okay, which are the organizations which are covered under RTI? It's given here, central government departments. All the central government departments are included in RTI. state government departments, municipalities as well as panchayats, public sector undertakings, it's commonly known as PSCUs, right? Government funded institutions. So these are all the sectors which are included in RTI. But there are important sectors which are not included in RTI. Which are those sectors? Those sectors are, for instance, IB, Information Bureau, or in fact you can say RNAW, right? Research and Analysis Wings. You cannot go as a citizen of Bharat and ask RNAW to give the information. Okay, you cannot do that. So these are sensitive zones, correct? So these are the institutions which are covered, and there are important institutions like RNAW, IB which are not covered in RTI. Please remember this. Okay. All right. Who gives the information? Again, a very important point. The government has appointed Public Information Officer, that is IPO, to basically give this information. Okay. And PIO is responsible to give the information within the time frame, and that time frame is generally 30 days. Okay, 30 days. So please remember these important things with respect to RTI. Okay. All right. Now, what was the amendments which was proposed by the Maharashtra government? And Anna Hazare is saying that he is going to go into fast if the Maharashtra government does not take that amendment back. Okay. So what are those amendments? Increase in RTI application fee. Basically, the government of Maharashtra has said that we are going to increase the fee 3 times. Okay. Initially, the amount was 10 rupees. Now they are increasing to rupees 30. Now the criticism to this is Anna Hazare, as per Anna Hazare and the followers, and in fact all the people who are criticizing these amendments are saying that how are the poor going to file an PIL? Correct? Sorry, not PIL, RTI. Okay. Because it has increased 3 times. First it was 10 rupees, now it's 30 rupees. Correct? Alright, next, mandatory identification. Previously, there was no mandatory identification required. For instance, anyone could file an RTI. Okay, but then now the government is proposing that if you want to file an RTI, you're supposed to do that with proper documentation. You should have a valid ID proof. Okay. Applicants would require to provide identity proof details while filing an RTI application. Alright, so that is the second amendment. Third amendment is 150 word limit. Previously, you can file an RTI with unlimited words, right? But then the word has been curtailed. Like for instance, you can write unlimited words in Facebook, right? But then if you write the same word in Twitter, you cannot do that. There is a restriction, correct? So similarly, government is proposing 150 word limit. So the argument against that is, sometimes it may happen that there may be some things which may not be within the 150 words range, right? So you need some explanations. So basically it was the criticism is to the criticism of this act is they are saying to the government of India, so government of Maharashtra, that basically they are trying to curtail the empowerment which is given to the citizens through these amendments. Okay, because they have reduced the word limit to 150. Okay. Last is 1 query per application. Now, what does this mean? It simply means that if the applicants wants to file an RTI, there should only be 1 query per application. Okay, let's take an example. There is a road construction. Okay, and if you want to know the price, so you need to fill this separately. If you want to know about the amount spent, you need to send the application separately. If you want to know who is the contractor, you need to basically send the application separately. So previously you could do this in one. Okay, in one application you could do that. Okay, previously, but then now after this amendment, what is it said is that if you want to know about the information regarding contractor, then you'll have to file a separate RTI. If you want to know the price, you'll have to file a separate RTI. If you want to know the amount, which is the entire amount which is spent, you will have to file a separate RTI. Okay, so this is the fourth amendment which is proposed, in fact which was taken by the government of Maharashtra. Okay, and basic idea is RTI was generally brought because it gives the right, or it gives the empowerment to the citizen of Bharat, right? And with these regulations, it is said that they are curtailing the power which is given to the citizen of Bharat through RTI. Okay, because now first and foremost the money is increased 3 times. Okay, and second is the word limit has also been reduced, and also 1 query per application. That means if you want to know the price, you'll have to pay 30 rupees. If you want to know the contractor, you have to pay 30 rupees more. So again, cost is also increased, right? And also word power has also word limit has also reduced. So that is what the criticism is. But then the government perspective, if you think from the government perspective, okay, what the government is saying and why did they bring these amendments? It's because the government is saying, okay, the basic idea of fee is to reduce unwanted RTI, because every now and then some person comes up and says that I want to know this such and such information, because the fee is very much less. So if the government increases the fees, then it may reduce that unwanted RTI, right? And then again, the matter of identification is because the government is saying that we want to know who basically is giving the RTI, if the body is a legitimate body or not, right? So if the documented verification is done mandatory, then the government will know that certain sections is the concern of the certain section is valid, correct? So that is the reason why the government is basically saying that document verification is also important, right? So there are to and fro's. I'm not here to pass comment on anyone, right? It is your judgment. As per you, whatever you feel, you can comment down on the comment box whether the comment is right or whether it should not be amended. So you can give your views down in the comment box. Thank you all very much. I'll meet you in the next class.